local newspaper, the Arkansas Gazette at that time, indicated that the Brown decision was going to change the face of the South forever. I remember those words. And I thought to myself, good, because I think the face of the South ought to change.
I will not force my people to integrate against their will.
The governor of the state, Orville Forbes, decided that he was going to use Central as his point of resistance. None of us of the 9 anticipated that the resistance would be as strong as it was. The night before we were to go to school, the governor called out the Arkansas National Guard, unbeknownst to us. And when we appeared at Central the first day, the National Guard was there to bar our entrance and let white students go into the school. What it was like, it was rejection that I had never experienced like that. It seemed to me that if they were going to all of this trouble to keep me out, there was something bigger than my simply going to class. Only when we got home from school that day did we realize what an ordeal, personal ordeal, Elizabeth had gone through, and that she certainly faced more of the mob directly. I always applaud the fact that she was able to keep both her composure and try to figure out how to get out of that. We started school on the 25th of September.
President Eisenhower sends 500 troops of the 101st Airborne Division of the United States Army.
It was a terrific feeling that President of the United States would send troops to escort us into school. I didn't know what was going to happen after that. It was like going to war every day. You had students who tried to use as much verbiage as they could to intimidate us. We had threats and comments that, we would be killed. For all of us, we decided that this was a year that we were going to support each other. We were going to try to do as well as we could in our academic work. Some were a lot smarter than me, but I also was determined that this year I was going to graduate from Central. The principal of the school told me at one point along the way that I didn't have to come to the ceremony. They would mail me my diploma. And I thought, listen, I didn't go through all this to pass up the ceremony. Maybe the world thought that after Little Rock, everything is going to be fixed. And one of the important pieces, I'm sure I don't need it to remind anyone, that the history of slavery in this country makes it very difficult to overcome a lot of issues on race. We're a long way from being perfect, but we certainly are not what we were when I started out. I believe that our participation at Central is one of those many steps that's gone to change this country for the better.
Better turn around, Yum. Don't come back! Don't come back! What? Don't come back! It is the neighborhood you wanted when we have.
Come on, Yum. We were riding down this block, and these white people start saying, "Get out of here, niggas. Get out of my neighborhood. Don't come to this neighborhood." And then they start hitting on her. Throwing rocks and everything else. Throwing rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood.
We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody.
We had a nice
We saw a parade, we saw a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. All right. I mean, we didn't bother anybody. We weren't looking for trouble. I never even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
What happened to you?
Nothing happened to me, but this little boy, short boy about my size, or little short, had picked up a rock, and he was in the front of all these tall honkies. But he threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I was sure wish he had hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right dead in his face. They always say niggas are doing everything. They always say weirds ring everything, right? We didn't, every time the white people come down the block, we don't push them out their neighborhood and throw rocks and start hitting them. We don't bother the white people around our neighborhood, but when we get in a white neighborhood, they just push us out.
Yeah, everybody with us, we're nothing, you know, we're a piece of dirt, dogs. I mean, that's the way you treat an animal. I mean, God, we're human beings. You don't treat other people like that. It's just wrong. Black, white, I don't care. A person is a person. Skin should have no bearing on how you treat a person. That's just wrong.
I hate their goddamn guts.
I can't say that I hate them. I can't say that it's totally the kids' fault. I mean, I'm sure their parents had some bearing on the way they feel and everything else. I think it's just the system. I don't know. I can't say that I hate them because I don't hate anybody.
Do you forgive them?
No. Can't take back no hurt. But they gonna always do that. They always spit on us like we some dogs. They always spit back on them. Ain't nothing gonna change.
You can feel the intents behind it, you know. And so I felt it. I felt the heat from it. I felt it in her eyes. I knew exactly what it was.
Jessica Richardson says she and her husband were looking to spend the holiday weekend picnicking with their dog, possibly even renting a cabin. She says they Googled a nearby Campgrounds of America location and decided to drive there. And that's when things took a turn for the worse.
She jumped out and the gun was pointed at me, my husband, and our dog. It was just pointing at us. And one finger was on the trigger. The other finger was on the, I always forget the
On the lever.
On the lever of the revolver.
Richardson says that's when she pulled out her cell phone. The woman holding the gun identified herself as the property manager, but her choice of words were less than professional.
She was just like, get, you don't belong here, you don't belong here, you don't belong here.
Richardson says the confrontation was shocking.
Time stopped, everything stopped.
Yeah, I was confused with what was going on.
Right.
I mean, we ain't like we were posed a threat to anybody. We're out there walking our dog. I mean,
Right.
There's nothing harmful about that.
The fact that she used get like we were a dog. You know, you say get to a stray dog that's on your porch. And that get got to me more than you don't belong here.
On the way out, they spoke to another campground employee outside of the office who turned out to be the woman's husband.
So I get out, start talking to him, and he says, first thing he says, oh no, you don't need a reservation for the lake. And then she pulls up, when she flies, pulling up, hops out the car, and then proceeded to yell at my wife.
Get in the car, get in the car.
You get in the car, you need to get back in the car, and like cussing her out, and she's not even saying anything.
With signs at the front entrance and two different stories from employees, the Richardsons were confused, horrified, and disappointed. The Army National Guard sergeant recently returned home from a 9-month deployment in the Middle East.
It's kind of crazy. You go over there, don't have a gun pointed at you, and come back here, and the first thing happens, you have a gun pointed at you. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about.
All right, Nevada County, what do you have to say?
Local residents hastily assembled a demonstration in the parking lot of a Grass Valley supermarket, shocked by the news of what happened over the weekend at a Nevada County campground.
If you can't tolerate other people having a good time, go home.
And sometimes it feels overwhelming, and this is one step we can take here in our county to show that we're not going to tolerate that.
A family reunion in a group campsite at Rollins Lake came to a sudden end Saturday night when a man from an adjacent campsite charged the group with what they thought was a shotgun.
Then all you can hear is, "I'm going to kill you effing ends." Guy runs down the hill. The guys on our campsite tell us to run.
I just fell flat to my face.
Melvina Allen, a grandmother, tripped and fell trying to escape the threatened violence.
66 years old, and you've never seen anything like this
Not
before?
Like this before. Not caught in the, I've seen it on TV, movies, and say, oh my God, but when you get caught in the dark like that, it's scary. Yeah.
In the first hours of an online fundraising effort, the organizer of the Grass Valley demonstration had already collected more than $1,300 to host the family's next summer reunion.
Let's bring these people back. I mean, they're kind of nervous to come back to our community, and I totally get it. But I think in 2016, when they bring their family back, they're going to have an entirely different experience.
Mrs. Allen, who was watching her granddaughter today, said she truly appreciates the support. But right now, it's hard to think that far ahead.